Imagine waking up on an ordinary Tuesday morning. You make your commute, stop at a coffee shop, and hand over your credit card. Declined, you try again. Declined, you check your account and discover every single dollar is gone. But here is the terrifying part. It was not just you. According to investigators, more than 170 million credit card numbers were stolen in one of the largest hacking operations in American history. No weapons were used, no masks were worn, no banks were physically robbed, just a young man, a laptop, and a digital trail stretching silently across an entire nation. Millions of ordinary people went about their lives completely unaware that their financial identities had already been harvested, packaged, and sold to criminals operating in the shadows of the internet. His name was Albert Gonzalez, and this is the story of how cybercrime entered a terrifying new era. The scene shifts to the late 1990s and early 2000s, a time when the internet was exploding with possibility. Businesses rushed online almost overnight. Millions of people used credit cards digitally for the very first time. Banks, retailers, and payment processors all wanted to be connected, and they moved fast to make that happen. But according to cybersecurity experts, security was simply not growing as fast as the technology itself. Many companies believed hackers were just teenagers seeking attention or bragging rights. Few people inside boardrooms or information technology departments could imagine that organized cybercriminals would ever target major corporations. The digital world felt exciting, open, and full of opportunity. Protecting it felt like a problem for later. That assumption, shared across entire industries, would soon prove dangerously costly. Because while businesses celebrated their new digital frontier, others were quietly studying every unlocked door, every unprotected network, and every opportunity hiding inside the chaos. We are introduced to Albert Gonzalez, born in Miami, Florida. From a young age, he showed an unusual fascination with computers. Friends described him as highly intelligent, curious, and exceptionally skilled with technology. While other teenagers spent their afternoons playing sports or hanging out, Gonzalez was doing something entirely different. He was exploring networks, diving into programming languages, and connecting with online communities that most people his age had never heard of. According to public reports, he spent countless hours studying how computer systems actually worked, not just on the surface, but deep inside their architecture. He understood things that trained professionals struggled to explain. His abilities were genuinely remarkable. Given the right direction, those skills could have built him a respected and successful career in technology. But according to investigators, Albert Gonzalez eventually made a very different choice, one that would set him on a path toward becoming one of the most wanted cybercriminals in American history. As the internet expanded, underground communities grew quietly alongside it. Private forums began appearing where hackers exchanged knowledge, explored system vulnerabilities, and in some cases crossed directly into criminal activity. These were not casual conversations. They were structured communities with their own rules, reputations, and hierarchies. According to investigators, Albert Gonzalez became involved in these online hacker communities during this period. He was not just a passive observer. He participated, contributed, and built a name for himself. He gained a growing reputation for technical ability that few others could match. But reputation alone was not enough. The forums were full of talented people. What separated those who stayed curious from those who turned criminal was often one thing: money. Money would soon become the real motivation for Gonzalez, pulling him deeper into a world that operated entirely in the shadows, far beyond the reach of ordinary law enforcement, and growing more dangerous with every passing month. One name repeatedly appeared during federal investigations: Shadow Crew. According to court documents, Shadow Crew was an online criminal marketplace unlike anything authorities had encountered before. Members allegedly traded stolen credit card numbers, counterfeit identity documents, hacking tools, and stolen personal information across its hidden digital corridors. Authorities estimated thousands of members worldwide were actively involved, operating across multiple countries simultaneously. It represented something entirely new in the world of crime, cybercrime functioning as an organized business, complete with roles, reputations, and revenue. Investigators say Albert Gonzalez became one of the prominent figures associated with this underground community, earning recognition for his technical knowledge and reliability within those criminal circles. Transactions happened daily. Stolen data moved freely. Real people suffered financial devastation without ever knowing their information had been compromised. But while Shadow Crew expanded its reach, federal authorities were already watching closely, quietly building a case that would eventually shake the entire underground criminal network to its foundation. In 2003, federal investigators arrested Albert Gonzalez in connection with cybercrime investigations. For most people, that arrest would have been the end of the story. A young hacker caught, prosecuted, and finished. But according to public records, that is not what happened. Gonzalez reportedly began cooperating with the United States Secret Service, the same agency responsible for investigating financial crimes across the country. He attended meetings with investigators. He provided intelligence about underground networks. He helped authorities better understand how hacker communities operated, who the key players were, and how stolen financial data moved through criminal marketplaces. To many observers, it appeared his hacking career was finished. He had been caught, and now he was helping the very people hunting cybercriminals. Some believed he had genuinely changed direction. Others were not so certain, because investigators would later uncover something deeply astonishing hiding just beneath the surface of his apparent cooperation. According to prosecutors, while cooperating with federal investigators, Albert Gonzalez was secretly living a completely separate life. During the day, he attended meetings, provided intelligence, and helped authorities understand underground criminal networks. But behind the scenes, investigators later alleged, something far more dangerous was happening. Gonzalez was not stepping away from cybercrime, he was escalating it. Instead of targeting individuals, he allegedly began organizing sophisticated hacking operations aimed at corporations, retail giants, and major payment processors. His techniques evolved dramatically from his earlier days in underground forums. He was no longer a curious teenager exploring networks. According to prosecutors, he had become the architect of large-scale corporate intrusions. Every successful breach produced something extraordinarily valuable. Millions of payment card numbers, quietly harvested from businesses that had absolutely no idea their systems had been compromised. Companies continued operating normally, completely unaware that their customers' financial information was already being stolen, packaged, and prepared for sale on criminal marketplaces operating entirely in the shadows. According to federal indictments, the hackers methodically searched for weaknesses inside wireless networks belonging to major retailers. These were not random targets. They were carefully selected high-traffic businesses processing thousands of payment transactions daily. Once inside, investigators say malware was installed that quietly captured payment card information, customer after customer, purchase after purchase, day after day. Nothing appeared unusual from the outside. Stores continued operating normally. Customers kept shopping completely unaware. Meanwhile, according to prosecutors, massive amounts of financial data were silently leaving company networks without triggering a single alarm. Then banks began noticing unusual fraud patterns emerging across the country. Cards issued in different states were suddenly being used fraudulently around the world, sometimes within hours of legitimate purchases. Something enormous was clearly happening beneath the surface of everyday commerce. Investigators knew the scale was significant, but at this point, nobody yet knew who was behind it, or just how deep the operation truly ran. The investigation begins to take shape. Fraud reports that initially appeared unrelated were slowly being connected. A stolen card in New York, another in California, thousands more in Florida. Then victims appeared overseas. Banks across multiple countries reported identical patterns, and investigators knew this was not coincidence. According to investigators, someone was harvesting payment card information on an industrial scale. The operation was methodical, deliberate, and deeply sophisticated. This was not opportunistic theft. This was organized criminal infrastructure. One company soon became central to the investigation. TJX Companies, one of the largest retail chains in the United States. Prosecutors alleged that hackers had infiltrated its wireless networks, exploiting vulnerabilities that the company had not yet addressed. Once inside, investigators say the attackers installed packet-sniffing malware, software designed to silently capture data moving across internal networks. Customer after customer swiped their cards, completely unaware. For months, according to prosecutors, this continued without detection, while stolen financial data quietly flowed out of TJX systems and into criminal hands. When investigators finally understood the full scale of what had happened, even experienced agents were stunned. According to court records, tens of millions of payment card numbers had been compromised at TJX Companies alone. But TJX was not the only victim. Investigators would later allege attacks against BJ's Wholesale Club, OfficeMax, Dave & Buster's, Barnes & Noble, Sports Authority, Forever 21, Heartland Payment Systems, and Hannaford Brothers. The list kept growing. Each breach followed a disturbingly identical pattern. Gain access through vulnerable wireless networks, remain completely hidden inside company systems, silently collect payment card data, move stolen information out of the network without triggering alarms, sell it through underground criminal marketplaces, then repeat the entire process against the next target. What investigators had initially treated as separate incidents were now clearly connected. This was not opportunistic hacking. This was a calculated, repeating operation running like clockwork across some of America's most recognized retail brands. According to investigators, stolen credit card numbers had enormous value on underground criminal marketplaces. Fresh card numbers commanded significantly higher prices because they had not yet been flagged or cancelled by banks. Cards with higher spending limits became even more valuable to buyers. Thousands of stolen records changed hands every single day across these hidden digital networks. The operation resembled a multinational corporation, except its product was stolen identity. Prosecutors described how stolen information was sold to other criminals who then produced counterfeit physical cards, withdrew cash from automated teller machines, and made fraudulent purchases around the world. What made this operation particularly difficult to dismantle was its geographic complexity. Money flowed through multiple countries, passing through layers of financial systems designed to obscure its origins. Investigators followed every digital trace across international borders, building a picture of a criminal enterprise operating at a scale that law enforcement had never previously encountered in the history of cybercrime. As evidence grew, the United States Secret Service intensified its investigation alongside the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Digital forensic experts examined server logs, malware samples, internet protocol addresses, wireless network activity, and encrypted communications. Every piece of recovered data added another layer to an increasingly detailed picture of the operation. According to prosecutors, operational security failures gradually exposed members of the hacking network. The criminals had believed their digital footprints were invisible. They were wrong. Recovered communications, digital infrastructure, financial records, and travel information all strengthened the government's case significantly. One by one, investigators executed search warrants across multiple locations. Computers were seized, servers were analyzed, hard drives were forensically examined for every recoverable trace of criminal activity. The operation that had once appeared completely untouchable was now unraveling piece by piece. What had taken years to build was collapsing under the weight of its own evidence. Investigators were closing in, and the people behind one of history's most ambitious cybercrime networks were running out of places to hide. The investigation reached its most astonishing revelation. According to prosecutors, approximately 170 million payment card numbers had been compromised through multiple corporate breaches connected to the case. To put that number in perspective, that is roughly half the population of the United States at the time. It represented one of the largest identity theft and payment card hacking cases ever prosecuted in American history. Financial losses extended into hundreds of millions of dollars. Businesses invested billions strengthening cybersecurity infrastructure. Consumer trust was deeply shaken. People began questioning whether their financial information was ever truly safe. The cybercrime landscape changed forever. Regulations tightened, security standards were rewritten, entire industries restructured how they protected sensitive data. But beyond the numbers, beyond the corporate damage, one question still demanded an answer. How did Albert Gonzalez, a young man from Miami, Florida, rise to become one of the most notorious hackers in American history? And what sentence ultimately awaited him?